Howdy friends, Guthrie Trapp here coming to you, telecasting to you from East Nashville, Tennessee. Man, it's a rainy day out there. It's a little chilly. A nice day to turn on the fire, get caught up, you know, had a nice breakfast, got up. I've been doing these insight timer meditations in the morning just to ease into the day. That's been very nice, very satisfying, kind of, you know, just trying to chill out a little bit, man. I'm realizing something. 2024 was an amazing year, but I worked myself almost to death, man. I mean, by the end of the year, my nervous system was just shot because I didn't take the time to chill out, and I just worked. And this year, I'm going to try to work on still working hard, working smarter, and not harder, but still working hard, but just trying to kind of like balance everything out a little bit, man. I can't work like I did last year and keep a nice life balance going. It's hard, man. But I'm going to get into a couple things here. I wanted to share some stuff with you about the Pentatonic and stuff like that, how to make that more musical. Man, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks since I've been on YouTube. Every time, I should just stop saying that I'm going to try to do more regular videos, because every time I say that, it's like 2 weeks go by and I don't do a video. But it has been a little busy. Saw some of you guys down in Hawaii. Saw some of you in New Orleans. It's been just unbelievable. The Hawaii gigs, and I'm going to post a little video maybe tomorrow morning or something. I did a little compilation of some running around in Hawaii and stuff just for fun, you know, just sharing some travels. But man, Hawaii was awesome. We were right down there on Waikiki Beach. Of course, I was in a very touristy part of the island, but had some great shows with Billy Gibbons. You know, walked out and did the last 5 songs with him and the band. He's got this like organ trio thing that he does called the BFGs. It's not ZZ Top. And so it was cool, man, just doing some blues shuffles, and I did a couple of my tunes with the band. Got to play with Chris Layton from Stevie Ray Vaughan's trio, famous trio, and Mike Flanagan, of course. Just a great crew. Chris Layton is just an awesome guy, man. I've got mutual friends with him, Jimmy Wallace and Kenny Wayne Shepherd and those guys, but you know, never thought in a million years, that I'd be friends and playing with Billy Gibbons, but never ever thought I'd be on the same stage and sharing stories and hanging out, eating sushi backstage with Chris Layton from the videos and records that we used to listen to when I was a kid, man. I mean, one day I'm going to wake up and all this is going to be a dream. It's just so crazy. But it was amazing. Flew back to, and I'm going to tell you something else about Hawaii too. I'm going to get real with you guys on here. But then flew back, had 2 days in Nashville, and then immediately went down to New Orleans and did a 50th birthday party at the Maple Leaf with Jack Roosh, Adam Wakefield, Doug Belote, and myself, and had a nice visit with my family and bounced around New Orleans. And all that stuff, which was awesome, was just very awesome. But I'm bummed that I didn't document more of that stuff on YouTube. But I'm gonna do more, and we're not done yet. So thanks for bearing with me and hanging in there and being just an awesome audience and an awesome community. And there's much more to come. It's just life takes over and you get busy. And I was also, to be honest with you guys, man, I've been dealing with some bad anxiety and stuff like that. And I've realized, although, you know, I'm not like a blackout drunk or anything like that, but I drink I was drinking on a regular basis, you know, and there's always something to celebrate in Nashville. You're always having some beers with your buddies or wine at dinner, or you're having some champagne at some celebration or something, and the holidays and all this stuff. And I just realized, man, you know, I got to Hawaii. I had a couple beers with the crew on Thursday night. And then Friday night, I had some buddies show up that were there, that were on the North Shore. They came down, and we got into it a little bit, drank some. And I ended up drinking too much on Friday night. Well, I woke up the next day and I felt like shit, but I also had some horrible anxiety, terrifying anxiety. And man, it's just that it's from the alcohol and it's from the booze. And so, you know, I stopped at that point. I was like, man, I'm taking a break. And now I'm on day 13, no booze. I feel great. The anxiety is pretty much all gone. I'm feeling clearer, you know, and man, I think it's just time to make some serious changes. The anxiety, the alcohol brings on the anxiety, and it's just not good. It's not good. And so, man, I'm just being honest with you guys. And so, you know, I got back, I buckled down, I started getting some exercise again, and drinking a bunch of water and feeling good. And man, it works. It really does work. So, you know, everybody's got their own path. Right now, this is what I got to do to be able to give you guys 120%. So that's where it's at. And then, man, back in the saddle I go. We leave next week. There's still tickets left for Chicago, and I promise I'm going to get into some guitar stuff. But I gotta feel like I need to catch up with you guys a little bit. But let's get into some of the guitar stuff. I was going to tell you, there's still tickets left for Chicago Night 2. We're coming up there February 7th and 8th with the whole guitar crew: Uncle Larry, Tom Bukovac, Jed Hughes, Nick Goverick, Jimmy Wallace, Tim Marks, Jordan Perlson. Young Tom's going to come with us. We're driving up there. We're gonna knock it out, man. It's gonna be awesome. We're playing at Martyrs, and so I'll put that link below. But guys, I wanted to share something with you. I was like, man, you know, the Pentatonic is not something that we're ever gonna leave. It's a fundamental and a part of guitar playing that we're never gonna, and it's a part of music that we're not gonna depart from. We're always gonna be using the Pentatonic. You just don't want to only have the pentatonic, right? You want to be able to elaborate on that a little bit. But most everything I played in that intro was pentatonic. Now, if you listen to Kenny Burrell's version of Chitlin's Con Carne, the famous version was Stevie Ray Vaughan. He got it from Kenny Burrell, and he paid an amazing homage to his playing style on there. That's one of my favorite Stevie Ray Vaughan songs, because he really plays some cool stuff that's kind of outside his wheelhouse, right? So really cool shit. But if you listen to the Kenny Burrell solo on Chitlin's Con Carne, you'll hear that it's mainly 99% pentatonics. And you wouldn't guess it because he's doing all these rhythmic things and phrasing. And so with the pentatonic, you can make it sound very musical, but you got to be careful what notes you're spending time on and resolving to and emphasizing. And so you want to get into these target notes. Like if I'm playing out of the A shape or the C shape, D, I got my low string dropped. Drop D, right? But this phrasing exercise. Now there's more notes in there than just the pentatonic, but it's based on the pentatonic. But it gets you the right note. Now I'm taking a note out. If you add the 4, it really gets cool. But just the pentatonic alone, right? That's all pentatonic. That's the major pentatonic. right? That's all the pentatonic. But I'm targeting notes to resolve on, and I'm confident, and they're deliberate, and they're phrases. And so you can't just go like, you can, but you're going to be all over the place. You got to really be conscious of what notes you're landing on. Really listen. You got to listen. That's the 5. That's the 1. That's the 3rd. I'm not going to land on that 6 because unless the specific melody determines that, I'm going to go use the 6 is just to get to the root. I'm not going to land on the 2. The 2 is to get to the 3rd, right? There's the 5th. You got to really get comfortable with the pentatonic, right? If it goes to the 6 minor, if it's going from D to B minor, D. B minor. If I land on that B note, that's insinuating that I'm playing the B minor. If I do that, watch. There's my G. So if I'm going, that means you're playing the G chord. So these notes have to really kind of mean something. Not kind of, they do. They have to mean something, but they also have to follow either the phrasing or some sort of chord progression or whatever that's in your head. You can't just kind of go random unless you really are a great improviser and you're able to just make stuff up on the spot. But while you're learning, you kind of got to follow some of these guidelines, right? So just make sure you're really resolving on, the root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, root. And that's all tied into the chord, the arpeggio, and the whole thing. Really get into some of these sounds, Use the 3rd. Right? Just play one's finger. That's still music, right? Oh, sorry. A couple little hammer. That's still pentatonic. I'm just doing a little hammer on there. But so look, guys, that's a little stuff on the pentatonics. Let me tell you a quick story because I want to keep the stories going here too. I gotta tell you this really quick. This is something that happened a long time ago. I'll be 46 on Monday, February 3rd, and we've got a big party that we're going to do. John Oates is coming out, Jeff Coffin. I talked to Sam Bush earlier. He can't make it, I don't think, but he's going to try. Charles Wigwalker, Jack Roosh, Jed Hughes, Tom Bukovac, they're all coming out. We're going to have a big jam session and a big birthday party. I won't be drinking, but we're going to have a great time. It's going to be awesome. Just can't believe how time's flying. But when I was a kid on the Gulf Coast, I used to play with my uncle every day after school. I was a terrible student. I'm going to elaborate on this story maybe another time, but I'll give you the cliff notes here. This was so interesting. And so I'll tell you how I met my best friend one day too, which is extremely interesting. It happened around the same time. I was in grade school down in Alberta, Alabama, and I'd bounced around homeschooling, Alberta, Pensacola, Florida, Catholic school, public schools, bounced around everywhere. My parents wanted me to be in a safe spot, but they also didn't really know what to do with me. I was not a good student when I got a little older. I was not a great student. I didn't understand math, English, science, and those subjects. My brain didn't work that way. It was confusing. I wasn't interested. I was a creative, I guess. I wanted to, draw and play guitar. So what happened was, when I went to Alberta, there was a school band there, and I still stay in touch with the band leader. His name's Rick, and there was a grade school band. It was like 5th or 6th grade, and they had horns and the whole thing, and they taught you how to read music. Well, I got in the band, and I was supposed to be the upright bass player, right, with a bow, and you're playing upright bass. Well, I knew how to play some bluegrass bass and play the bass and guitar and stuff. By then, I was playing a little bit, and so Rick was like, okay, yeah, well, here's the bass, and we're gonna learn how to read these notes and stuff. Well, I just memorized all the songs by ear. And so I didn't ever learn how to read music because I was using my ear and not reading the music. Well, I was a shitty music reader. I couldn't read anything, still can't, of course. And so I would just be like playing these lines on the bass, and he'd go, okay, well, you got a really good ear. You must have some sort of, talent or something. He could tell I was playing. And so he goes, well, look, I'm just going to write the notes above write the letters above the notes on the page, and you can just play those. And I went, okay, well, I'll try that. And I just wasn't any good at it. I couldn't read the thing. I couldn't count and play at the same time. And the other kids were terrible, of course, too. But they at least probably learned how to read music. And eventually, what happened was, and he had an electric bass too. I played electric bass, like a 5-string Peavey on like a couple songs, 25 of 64 or whatever the name of that song is, and some of these band songs. And so finally it got so bad, and me and my buddy who was on the drums, we were so disruptive in class. I mean, that literally he said, okay, Trap, why don't you just take my electric bass in the upright and go out into the hallway. You can just jam on whatever you want, and we're going to try to learn these songs. It was so funny, man. And my best friend that I met, I'll tell you how I met him too, but we were so disruptive in school that the teachers finally said, why don't you and Chris take your guitar, bring your guitars to school. We already were anyway. Bring your guitars to school. You guys go out in the hallway and you can jam. And because you're so disruptive and that nobody else in the class is learning anything. And so at least let's give these other, 20 students an opportunity to learn something. You guys got to leave. Just go out in the hallway and jam. So the teachers would let me and Chris go out and just play our guitars in the hallway so the other students could not be interrupted, because we were just causing all kinds of trouble, man. As you can imagine, we'd bring cigarettes and beer to school and walk the track and go jump out in the pine trees and smoke cigarettes and drink beer, dip snuff. And we got licks on the last day of the 8th grade. We got paddled by the principal, this big tall guy with a handlebar mustache. You bend over and he swats you with a paddle about this long with holes cut in it, so it was more aerodynamic. That's the kind of shit that was happening in South Alabama in the 8th grade. The last day of 8th grade, we were leaving the school, going to the high school, which I lasted a year in high school and quit. But got licks on the last day. Chris and Guthrie, to the principal's office now. Oh my God, what a trip. Just chaos. But anyway, hey guys, I hope you got something out of that. I love y'all. I'm back in the saddle. I'm looking forward to more YouTube stuff. I'm just going to start posting fun stuff. I got to stop worrying about whether or not it's going to get a lot of views and all this shit. We can't help but to think about that. We want to be successful in everything we do. It's just not possible. But Guys, thank you so much. There's some really cool shit coming up. There's a great thing in Scotland that's happening. I'll tell you guys all about it. But I got to sign off for now. Cheers. See you soon. Telecasting from East Nashville. Adios, amigos. All right. Cheers.